You must be joking. Emma looked at John Peterson with huge eyes. He shook his head. No, I'm not joking, but I'll give you time to think, because the offer is really unusual. I even understand what exactly it is associated with in your head. Think about it, weigh everything, and I'll come by in a week. Tanya watched him go with a confused look. She couldn't even wrap her head around everything he had just told her. She had known John Peterson for 3 years. He had a chain of gas stations and something else. And at one of these gas stations, Tanya worked part-time as a cleaner. John Peterson always greeted the workers with a smile and talked to them. In general, he was a good guy. The salary at the gas station was decent. And there were many people willing to work there. And then, about 2 months ago, Tanya was sitting outside after cleaning. Free time. Now I just need to clean up before the very end of the shift and then I'm free. The back door opened and John Peterson came out. Can I sit down? Tanya jumped up. Of course, what are you asking? And why did you jump up? Sit down, I don't bite. The weather is nice today. Tanya smiled and sat down. Yes, when spring comes, it always seems that the weather is nice. And all because the cold and snow are boring. Maybe you're right. I've been meaning to ask. And what are you doing, you janitor? I heard that Larissa offered you several times to transfer to the operator position. The salary is higher and the work is cleaner. Yes, I would be happy to, but I can't because of the schedule. My daughter is small, she is sick. When everything is fine, a neighbor stays with her, but when there is an exacerbation, I need to be there myself. So Ivanovna and I work. Thanks to her. She always comes to meet me halfway. We change when necessary. That's it. And what about your daughter? Oh, don't ask. None of the doctors could really figure it out. Some kind of attacks, she can't breathe. Panic and, in general, a lot of things. And the doctors just throw up their hands. They say that a serious examination is needed, but they won't do it for free. They said that you need to wait for adolescence. And then, perhaps, everything will go away on its own. Strange doctors, of course. Well, hold on, everything will be fine. Tanya thanked them, and in the evening she found out that John Peterson wrote her a bonus. He didn't say what for, he just wrote it out and that's it. She never saw him again after that. But today he came to her home. Tanya, to be honest, almost fainted. First, when she saw him, and then when she heard what he was offering her. And he was offering her such a thing. John Peterson has a son, he's almost 30. And for 7 of his 30 years he sat in a wheelchair, got into an accident, and since then, no matter what the doctors did, he couldn't get up. Because of this, he fell into a long-term depression. Lately, he didn't even want to talk to his father. And then the idea came to John Peterson that he needed to marry his son for real, so that he would want to live, so that he would want to fight. John Peterson, of course, was not sure of anything, but he decided to try. And it seemed to him that Tanya was the ideal option for this. Emma, you will live wonderfully. You will have everything. Your daughter will undergo all the necessary examinations. I am offering you a job for a year. In a year, you leave in any case. Whether James gets better or not, I will pay you very well. Emma could not even find words from indignation, and John Peterson, apparently, understood everything. Tanya. I ask you, help. Agree, this is a mutually beneficial offer. I am not even sure that my son will touch you, but it will make you feel better that you are so decent, and especially since you will be officially married. Well, imagine that you simply did not marry for love. I ask for only one thing. Whatever decision you make, let this conversation remain between us. Wait, John Peterson. Well, I'm just wondering, does your James agree to all this? The man smiled sadly. He said, I'll lie to him anyway, but I have problems in business or with my health or something else. I just need him to be married. For real. James always believed me. So this deception will be for the good. John Peterson left. And Tanya sat for a long time. In her soul she was outraged by such a proposal, but direct words seemed to smooth things over a little. Now, if you think about what she is capable of for Sophie, a lot. And he is also a father and also loves his son. Before the shift was over, Tanya received a call. Tanyusha, hurry, Sophie is having an attack and such a strong one. I'm running, I'll call an ambulance. Tanya and the car with doctors were at the gate at the same time. Where have you been, mother? The doctor looked at her sternly. I'm at work. This time the attack was really strong. Tanya timidly asked, maybe we need to go to the hospital? The doctor, who had visited them before, said tiredly, what's the point? You know perfectly well that they won't do anything there. They'll just make the child nervous. Oh, you should go to the capital, to a good clinic with good specialists. The doctors left 40 minutes later. Tanya picked up the phone and called John Peterson. I agree. Sophie is in trouble again. The next day they were leaving. John Peterson himself came for them, accompanied by a young clean-shaven man. Tanya, take only the bare necessities, we'll buy everything. She nodded. Sophie looked at the car with interest. It's so big. John Peterson sat down in front of the girl. I like it very much. Do you want to ride in the front seat? You'll see everything. Can I? I really want to. Sophie looked at her mother, and she said sternly, when the police see you, they'll write you a fine. John Peterson laughed and opened the door. Jump in, Sophie. We'll write those policemen a fine ourselves. The closer they got, the more Tanya was nervous. God, why did she agree? What if there was some inadequate monster there? John Peterson noticed her condition. Tanya, calm down, we still have a week before the wedding. You can change your mind. And one more thing. James is a good guy, smart, but something broke in him. You will understand everything yourself. Emma got out of the car, helped her daughter out, turned around and froze. This was not a house, it was a castle. But Sophie did not remain silent. She exclaimed, Mom, are we going to live like in a fairy tale? John Peterson laughed and picked up the baby in his arms. Did she like it? Very much. Before the wedding, James and Tanya saw each other only a few times at dinner. The guy ate almost nothing and almost did not speak. Rather, he was simply present at the table, and Tanya briefly examined him. Nice looking, in principle, but pale. Surely this is because he simply does not go outside. She understood that he did not feel better than she did, and was grateful that James hadn't even touched on the topic of the wedding. And during the days of the celebration, it seemed like there were about 100 people running around Tanya. Literally yesterday, the dress was delivered. When Tanya saw it, she sat down. How much did it cost? John Peterson smiled. Tanya, you're so impressionable, it's better for you not to know. By the way, look what else I have. And he took out a complete copy of her dress, only a very small one. Sophie, will you go try it on? Their daughter looked so good that they had to cover their ears. Then there was a fitting. The little princess walked importantly around the room in a beautiful dress. At some point, Tanya turned around and noticed James. He was at the open door of his room, looking at Sophie and smiling slightly. His daughter's room was now next to their bedroom. Their bedroom. Tanya couldn't imagine what would happen now. John Peterson suggested that they go to a country house, but James shook his head. Thank you, Dad, we're home. The bed was huge. James was far away and didn't seem to be going to pester her. So Tanya, who was planning on staying up all night, fell asleep pretty quickly. A week passed. She and James even talked sometimes in the evenings. He really turned out to be incredibly smart, and he didn't make any attempts to encroach on her. And Tanya slowly began to calm down. One night she jumped up. Something had happened. Her heart was pounding. Tanya rushed into her daughter's room. But that's it. Sophie was suffering from an attack. James, help, call an ambulance. He appeared in the doorway already in a chair, quickly grabbed the phone, and a minute later a sleepy John Peterson came running. I'll call Alexei. The doctors in the ambulance were unfamiliar to her. Probably, completely different ambulances came here. Look at their suits, their equipment. And then the family doctor arrived. The doctors conferred for a long time after the attack was over. Tanya was with daughter, James was nearby. He was holding the girl's hand in his. Emma, how long has she had this? Since birth. We were in the hospital so many times, underwent all sorts of examinations, but nothing. That's why Sophie's dad told us not to interfere with his life. And did you love him? Probably, but it was so long ago, and that's why you agreed to your father's proposal. Tanya raised her eyebrows in surprise. James just smiled. Father thinks that I don't know anything, but I always read him like an open book. I was afraid, though, of who he would find for me. But I saw you and was surprised. You are completely different from those who agree to do everything for money. And now everything seems to have fallen into place. Tanya, don't cry. We will definitely cure Sophie. She's a good girl. She didn't break down, unlike me. And why did you break down? You are smart, handsome, you are good. He grinned. Tell me, would you marry someone like me, but under different circumstances? Tanya, she thought for a second, then nodded. Yes, I think it's much easier to love you than many of those who run. But that's not the point. I don't know how to explain it. James smiled. No need to explain anything. You know, for some reason I believe you. A few days later, Emma caught James doing something strange. He took out some kind of incomprehensible device and was doing something with it. Well, it looked like he was doing sports. And what is this? This is a simulator. Then, immediately after the accident, I had to spend at least 2 hours on it, but I decided that nothing could help me. And now, I felt ashamed in front of Sophie, in front of you. There was a knock on the door, and John Peterson's head appeared. May I come in? Of course, come in, Dad. The man froze on the threshold, seeing what his son was doing. Then he swallowed and turned to Tanya. Tell me, was your birth difficult? What's wrong? You see, the doctor said that most likely Sophie was dragged and injured a temporal bone. It's healed on the outside, nothing is visible. But inside it's pressing on some nerve. It can't be. Tanya sat up. What should she do now? Tears quickly rolled down her cheeks. Okay, don't cry. The doctor said it wasn't that bad, but she needed an operation. They would remove what was in the way, and Sophie would be a normal girl. But it was her head. It was dangerous. James reached out to her and took her hand. Tanya, listen to your dad. Sophie will be able to live without attacks. And it's expensive. John Peterson looked at her in surprise. This question shouldn't worry you at all. You're in the family. Tanya was in the hospital with Sophie. The operation went well. They were promised that in 2 weeks they would definitely be home. Home. And Tanya now didn't understand where her home really was. James called often, and they chatted for a long time. With her, and with Sophie, and in general. To Tanya it seemed like they had known each other for 100,000 years. And time was passing. The year would end quickly. And then what? Tanya didn't even want to think about it yet. They returned home in the evening. John Peterson came for them and was rather gloomy. Something happened? I don't even know how to say it. James has been drinking for 2 days. How? He doesn't drink in principle. That's how it is. He worked out on the exercise machine for a month, freaked out, said that nothing was working out. Tanya entered the room. James was sitting without light. She turned on the chandelier, and began to clear everything off the table. Where are you going? You won't drink anymore. Why is that? Because I'm your wife and I don't like that you drink. James was confused, then said, well, this won't last long. Sophie is healthy now, so there is no reason to stay next to a disabled person. Tanya straightened up. Did you mean with an idiot, James? It seemed to me that you were strong, that you were smart. That you could do anything, but I couldn't be wrong about you. He lowered his head. Forgive me, I think I failed. But I'm home now. Maybe we should try again? The year was coming to an end. John Peterson was very nervous. James had only just begun to stand on his own. He couldn't walk yet, but the doctor said that at this rate he would be running. And Tanya, she would be leaving soon. Maybe she could offer more money. Tanya, Sophie, and James in a wheelchair came into the room for dinner. Dad, we have news for you. He looked at them with fear, then only at Tanya. Are you leaving? Yes. Tanya and James exchanged glances. Emma shook her head. Not quite. Don't keep us in suspense. You'll be a grandfather soon. But Sophie will have a little brother or little sister. John Peterson was silent for a long time, and then he just started crying. He hugged everyone and cried. If you liked the story, please support me with the thumbs up button. It's just one click for you, but it's very important to me. Thank you. M.